Welcome back to Juhui Makes Films. As I'm working on the character development for my next film, I recently rewatched this semi-autobiographical film by a Canadian filmmaker, Xavier Dolan, titled I Killed My Mother. I Killed My Mother is set in the suburbs of Montreal and is a film about a teenage boy, Hubert, and his single mom, Chantal, not getting along at all with each other. It was Dolan's debut film that he wrote when he was 16 and filmed it when he was 19. There are many semi-autobiographical films, but it's quite rare to see a film that is made while the filmmaker is still living the story of the film. Dolan acted the role of Hubert himself and shot this film in his mother's actual kitchen. Now, I want to focus on my takeaways of the characters in this film. First takeaway for me is how the film subtly, yet efficiently, probes into the fundamental cause of the conflict, which is the shifting dynamics between mother and son, and how each of them tries to enforce their authority. Teenagers not getting along with their parents is an old and common story. What's new in this film is that the writer, director, and actor Dolan created vocal characters, Hubert and Chantal, and they make specific and explicit arguments, which invites us, audience, to solve the puzzle and be a judge of their drama. One of the lines repeated by Chantal throughout the film is that if her son Hubert is not happy, he can do whatever he wants when he turns 18. But until then, he doesn't have any other choice but to comply with her. This condition that Chantal is holding against her son seems to be her way to restore her authority, which she feels is challenged as Hubert is getting older. Chantal even says it explicitly that her son is now criticizing everything that she does. It's as if getting challenged by her child was something that she never anticipated. Another habit of Chantal, whenever she feels cornered, is to tell Hubert to do a survey to see if she is right or wrong, hinting that she is right. For Chantal, the rebellious act of Hubert towards her is an attack on her authority, and her goal is to restore it through these arguments. For Hubert, who is already opinionated and quite a snob, Chantal's effort to enforce her authority with passive-aggressive and most importantly, dismissive comments only fuels his defiance. Hubert wants to be taken seriously because he is serious. He's a kind of a person who remembers everything and believes it word for word. Hubert often lashes out at Chantal by saying that she has Alzheimer's because she doesn't remember agreeing to all the desperately wanted suggestions that Hubert has made to her. For Hubert, Chantal is an obstacle for his self to be fully acknowledged. Hence, when his teacher asks about his mother, Hubert says, "My mom's dead," which is his way of reinforcing his identity. So the battle between Hubert and Chantal is not really about despising each other, although on the surface this seems like the case. Rather, the battle is really about both of them defending their own identity and authority from each other. Unlike most films that deal with child and parent conflict, this film managed to scrutinize the arguments coming from both characters quite equally. My second takeaway from this film is that the single parent element adds more complexity to the Hubert's character's inner conflict. Chantal is a single mom, and so is my character for my next film. As a child of a single parent, Hubert goes through a guilt and disappointment with himself for not being able to love his single mother as perhaps he would have imagined. In his black and white self-tape monologue, Hubert questions and blames himself for having an extremely negative emotion towards his mother compared to most other kids. At one point, Hubert says he doesn't think Chantal wanted to be a mother. She just became a mother because that's what others expected her to be. Perhaps Hubert feels responsible for how Chantal's life turned out. And he feels deep down that he owes her the life that she deserves. This deeply embedded guilt and responsibility as a child makes Hubert's character more complex and sympathetic. Even the title suggests that Hubert is carrying guilt subconsciously. In the classic French New Wave film, The 400 Blows by Truffaut, when the brazen boy Antoine is asked where his mother is, he goes, "She's dead." Interestingly, the title of the film is not "My Mother is Dead." It is "I Killed My Mother." This suggests that Hubert takes on all the guilt of being a child to a single parent, instead of seeing himself as a victim. Rewatching this film after 10 years was great fun. It was a reminder that if you're telling a story that is true to you, the story will remain timeless. Thanks for watching. Please share if you have any comments or thoughts about this film or about your relationship with your parents.